In the age of technology, the fishing industry is undergoing a transformation like never before. Every year, more than 90 million tons of seafood are hauled from the depths of the ocean, fueling an industry worth over 400 billion USD. Amid fierce seasons, every net cast is paid for with sweat, lives, and the fortune of seasoned fishermen. Yet, the arrival of modern technologies has changed the game, turning the perilous struggle against raging seas into astonishing harvests that surpass imagination. Today's video will unveil a breathtaking perspective on how humanity conquers the oceans, writing legends from the salty treasures of the deep. Every November, the North Atlantic turns into a battlefield of scale. Massive shoals of sardines, weighing millions of tons, light up sonar screens like blazing red storms beneath the waves. The moment a signal pings back, crews lock on target, unleashing purse seines over a kilometer long. Hydraulic winches tighten, thousands of buoys rise, and suddenly the open ocean folds into a colossal steel trap. In one haul, tens of thousands of tons of shimmering silver fish are captured, a sight that once demanded an entire fleet. Giant vacuum pumps roar to life, sucking streams of fish on board while keeping every shimmering scale intact. Their power can swallow hundreds of tons in just minutes, dozens of times faster than human hands ever could. With this technology, the ocean feels as if it's being drained through a colossal straw, both brutal and breathtaking. In moments, sardines are sealed in icy holds, preserving the flavor of the ocean and ready to serve millions of meals around the world. The journey of sardines doesn't end at our dining table. Out in the vast ocean, they serve another purpose, becoming the lifeblood that fuels the giants of the sea, tuna. And to satisfy the hunger of these ocean warriors, technology once again steps in. Automatic feeding machines act as silent chefs. Fishermen simply load the boat with fresh sardines or nutrient-rich pellets, and the system takes care of the rest, grinding, pumping, and evenly scattering feed across the pens, creating mesmerizing rainfalls of food on the water's surface. The tuna surge upward in unison, devouring the feast, growing bigger and stronger. Thanks to this method, feeding becomes more uniform, costs are reduced, and waste is minimized, transforming offshore farms into sustainable meat factories of the sea, securing a stable supply for the global market. The purse seine method, using nets up to 2 kilometers long and nearly 200 meters deep, is considered the ultimate weapon in tuna fishing across Spain and Mexico. With this technique, entire migrating schools of thousands of tuna can be encircled, contributing to more than 7 million tons of catch each year. When sonar signals the presence of a school, the crew springs into action. A small boat pulls the leading edge of the net in a wide circle, while the mothership steadily releases the massive mesh, closing the trap. Floats keep the mouth of the net at the surface, while heavy weights drag the bottom deep down, transforming it into a colossal moving wall that seals off the churning ocean. After hours of tightening, the tuna are corralled together, thrashing furiously in the shimmering water. At this point, fishermen deploy giant braille nets, scoop-like nets the size of swimming pools, to hoist clusters of fish aboard. The entire operation is powered by heavy-duty hydraulic winches and cranes, capable of lifting tons of tuna in a single sweep. This not only spares the crew from back-breaking labor, but also drastically cuts down harvest time. In October, the Bering Sea turns furious, where fishermen plunge into a deadly race to seize a fiery treasure, the king crab, one of the most dangerous trades on Earth. Giant crab pots, steel frames weighing over 300 kilograms, wrapped in tough mesh and packed with herring bait, are hurled into the depths, 200 to 400 meters below. Each trap, marked with a GPS buoy, sinks into the freezing darkness where the giants of the deep lie in wait. After 24 to 48 hours, the golden moment arrives. The massive cages, heavy with their catch, are hauled back by hydraulic cranes, powerful enough to lift tons in seconds. Replacing the back-breaking labor of dozens of deckhands, this machinery shortens the harvest and slashes risk in the raging seas while multiplying efficiency. When the traps crack open, dozens of scarlet king crabs tumble onto the deck, and sorting begins immediately. Only mature males, with shells wider than 16.5 centimeters and weighing at least 1.2 kilograms, are kept. Females and undersized crabs are returned to the sea to preserve the population. The prized survivors are placed into chilled seawater tanks, kept alive until the boat reaches port, sealing another triumphant season on the perilous Bering waters. Farewell to the wild ocean. Today, over 80% of the world's salmon comes from massive offshore farms in Norway and Chile, where aquaculture techniques have reshaped the entire seafood industry. The journey of salmon begins in the hatchery, where eggs and milt are fertilized under strict conditions. Just a few weeks later, the eggs hatch into fry, raised in freshwater tanks with carefully controlled temperature and oxygen. Once they reach 10 to 15 centimeters, they undergo smoltification, a remarkable transformation that allows them to adapt to seawater. At this stage, the young fish must be transferred to massive offshore HDPE cages, where cold, oxygen-rich currents help them grow rapidly. And it's precisely in this critical moving day that an ingenious technology comes into play. Can you believe fish can actually take an elevator? On modern farms, moving tons of live fish is now done with a machine called the fish transfer pump. Instead of blades that could injure them, the pump generates a gentle, low-pressure water flow that sweeps the salmon smoothly through pipes like a water slide, before shooting them directly into transport tanks or holding pens. The result, a safe, fast, and almost stress-free journey for the fish. Born in Japan in the 1970s, the automated squid jigging method with slide troughs quickly became Asia's most effective squid harvesting machine. Modern vessels are equipped with massive dual-side rigs and hundreds of glowing artificial lures, turning the night sea into a floating city that draws dense schools of squid. Artificial light doesn't just attract squid, it concentrates them at optimal depths to avoid predators, boosting catch efficiency several times over. The automatic line system springs to life. Motors make the lines twitch like live prey, luring squid that are then guided along the troughs into containers, keeping their shape and freshness intact. While a typical squid only lives a few years, this technology allows millions of tons to be harvested annually without disrupting the ecosystem. One by one, fresh squid are collected, turning each voyage into a feat of human ingenuity, where technology and nature combine to create a breathtaking performance on the night sea. On the muddy tidal flats of North America, high-pressure water pumps have become the most advanced tool for harvesting a rare treasure, the geoduck clam. Workers balance precariously on the soft mud, inserting the tube precisely where the clam buries itself, a meter deep beneath the sand. The powerful jet loosens the ground, turning the compact sand into a liquid stream around the clam. Once the sand softens, they carefully dig layer by layer with their hands or a small shovel, gradually lifting the massive clam intact, its long body stretching like a human arm. The biggest advantage of this method is saving effort and drastically reducing harvesting time. Yet it comes with harsh challenges. The tides. A sudden rise can submerge the exposed flats in an instant, sweeping away tools and hard-earned clams in the blink of an eye. It's a heart-pounding race between humans and the sea, where only the swiftest and bravest can claim the prize. Abalone, the luxury seafood often called the diamond of the sea, is now in full harvest season across many Asian waters. The process begins by hoisting heavy cultivation trays, each holding 200 to 300 clinging abalones, onto the boat using cranes or automatic winches. Workers then carefully detach each abalone with specialized tools, ensuring the foot, the most valuable part, remains intact. Next, the abalones are rinsed clean of seaweed and sand, then fed onto an automated conveyor for sorting. Each individual is graded by size and weight to meet strict standards. Japan demands absolute uniformity, while China seeks giant specimens for high-end restaurants. Finally, the abalones are packed in oxygenated foam boxes or chilled, ready to be shipped worldwide, where they grace luxury dining tables at staggering prices. Scallops, the pearls of the ocean, aren't lured like sardines by light, nor tricked like squid by fake bait. Harvesting them requires precision and the skilled hands of experienced fishers. Techniques include longline pulling or bottom trawling, where expertise makes all the difference. As hydraulic cranes lift dozens of meters-long lines, thousands of scallops cling tightly, revealing themselves like massive strings of raw pearls, their shells sparkling in the light. Each heavy line represents nearly a year of enduring waves and cold currents. And did you know? A scallop can live over 20 years, accumulating exceptional flavor and nutrients throughout its life. With bottom seeding methods, harvesting is even harsher. Nets scrape the seabed to gather scallops, yielding large quantities but disturbing the marine environment. Today, suspended line farming is on the rise. Sustainable, preserving the quality of each scallop, allowing fishers to harvest safely, and turning every trip to sea into a breathtaking display of nature and technology. In modern factories, the scallop shelling process is now fully automated, easing the workload for workers while maintaining speed and precision. Workers only need to place the scallops on the conveyor belt, and the rest is handled almost entirely by mechanical arms. A thin blade glides along the shell, splitting it open in an instant, extracting the pristine white adductor muscle, while the shells and innards are swept aside. A single production line can process 8,000 to 10,000 scallops per hour, cleanly, quickly, and accurately, perfectly suited for export orders. What makes coastal mussel farming so unique and highly productive is the fleet of specialized boats equipped with hydraulic cranes and massive mussel harvesting buckets. When approaching the posts, the bucket is lowered close to the surface and works like an automatic scrubber. It dislodges the mussels while washing away mud and debris using high-pressure water jets. The mussels that fall are sucked into a collection chamber and transferred directly to the ship's hold, speeding up harvesting, reducing labor, and minimizing damage to both the posts and the mussels, compared to manual methods. At offshore rope mussel farms, harvesting has been mechanized with an automated mussel sorting machine on the deck. When the long ropes, tens of meters in length, are lifted, they are fed into the system. Rotating spines combined with stiff brushes and high-pressure water jets scrub the surface, dislodging the mussels lightly sorting them, and collecting them directly into storage bins. In just a few minutes, thousands of mussels, weighing hundreds of kilograms per rope, are processed neatly, much faster than by hand. Beneath the waves, the swordfish, a creature bearing a giant silver blade on its head, has long stood as a symbol of power. In fact, that sword is an extension of the upper jawbone, flat and hard as steel, stretching up to a third of its body length. It isn't razor-sharp like a real blade, but strong enough to stun schools of fish, pierce wooden boat hulls, and even bring down sharks. Beyond its legendary weapon, the swordfish is a solitary hunter capable of reaching speeds close to 100 km per hour, making it one of the ocean's most enigmatic and formidable predators. Spain, with its powerful deep-sea longline fleet, has turned the port of Vigo into Europe's swordfish capital, accounting for a quarter of the global catch. Meanwhile, the United States, with its domestic fisheries and strict regulations, has elevated swordfish into a premium delicacy rather than just a mass export. Each year, this species generates hundreds of millions of dollars, securing its place as a vital link in the global seafood industry. And the taste? Imagine a steak born of the sea, firm, pinkish red, packed with protein, lean, neither as oily as salmon nor as heavy as tuna, but balanced, refined, and richly flavorful. The journey to hunt swordfish begins in the vast ocean, where humans must combine centuries-old tradition, modern technology, and real-world experience to locate this species, a decisive yet challenging factor that determines the success or failure of the entire voyage. To achieve this, fishermen must know the habits of swordfish better than anyone else. These fish are widely distributed across tropical and temperate oceans, usually found at depths of 200 to 800 meters, and sometimes descending beyond 1,500 meters. This is a cold, dark realm where light barely penetrates. To find them, fishermen rely on experience, observing the ocean surface, the migration of bait fish, and the currents. And today they also use satellite positioning and sonar to scan for schools of fish, greatly improving accuracy. Veteran fishermen often describe swordfish as lone silver shadows. They do not swim in schools but move alone, striking their prey with speed and surprise. This solitary nature makes catching swordfish far from easy. It requires patience, luck, and sometimes even an art passed down through generations. Once the waters with swordfish have been identified, the next step is preparing the bait. As apex predators in the food chain, swordfish have a varied diet, ranging from herring, mackerel, and small tuna to squid and even certain crustaceans. Yet their ultimate weakness, the delicacy they find hardest to resist, is fresh squid. For this reason, on most fishing trips, squid remains the bait of choice to lure swordfish closer. The bait is secured onto large stainless steel hooks built to withstand tremendous force and prevent breakage when the swordfish thrashes. Every part of the rig, line, hooks, floats is carefully checked, since a mature swordfish can weigh 200 to 300 kilograms, with record specimens exceeding 600 kilograms, powerful enough to bend ordinary metal. Once the bait is set, the confrontation with the silver blades of the ocean truly begins. The most common method of catching swordfish today is longlining, widely employed by industrial fleets from Spain, Ecuador, Taiwan, the United States, and many other countries. A single longline can stretch for tens of kilometers, carrying thousands of baited hooks, set either along the surface or in mid-water, the very zone where swordfish usually hunt. The entire system of floats and weights is arranged scientifically to keep the line at a stable depth, ensuring maximum efficiency. During deployment, fishermen prepare the main line on deck, while branch lines, already fitted with hooks and bait, typically fresh squid, are clipped on one by one. As the vessel moves slowly forward, the main line is gradually released into the sea, with each branch line and baited hook trailing after it, fixed in place by marker buoys. In this way, an immense wall of bait is erected beneath the surface, ready to lure in the solitary silver shadows of the ocean. Once the long line is fully set, it is left drifting for many hours, often overnight. Whenever a swordfish strikes and gets hooked, the powerful tension travels up the line and buoy, signaling the crew. At that moment, fishermen begin hauling in the gear with hydraulic winches, and the battle to bring the fish aboard becomes intense. Swordfish are notorious for their raw power. They can thrash violently, leap clear out of the water, or even charge directly at the boat's hull. The furious blows from a silver sword can pose real danger to the crew, making it essential that restraining and landing the catch is done with skill, coordination, and long-earned experience. Besides long-lining, swordfish are also caught using specialized rods, a method practiced both as sport and for commercial purposes. These rods are long, fitted with electric reel winches, and built to withstand hundreds of kilograms of force. When a swordfish takes the bait, the angler must rely on both strength and technique to control it. Sometimes the battle drags on for hours. The swordfish dives deep, thrashes violently, and leaps out of the water, while the fisherman strains to keep the line taut. In the world of sport fishing, conquering a giant swordfish is regarded as a legendary feat, a symbol of human strength against the ocean. However, this method accounts for only a small fraction of the total catch, serving mainly tourism and recreational fishing. Once the swordfish is subdued, it is brought aboard. Immediately, fishermen douse it with cold water and cover it with ice to preserve freshness. Some modern vessels are even equipped with quick freezing holds at 40 degrees Celsius right at sea, keeping the fish pristine for weeks. After long voyages, swordfish are transported back to port. These massive fish, each weighing hundreds of kilograms, are unloaded with cranes or forklifts. From there, they are sorted, some sold fresh to restaurants, others sent to freezing plants for processing. At restaurants or processing facilities, swordfish are most commonly prepared as fillets, as their body structure is highly suited for cutting and separation. After initial butchering, the long, firm body is taken to the main cutting stage. Instead of slicing thin fillets immediately, the fish is usually divided into large sections for easier handling. From these sections, skilled workers use sharp, specialized knives to separate the flesh from the skin and the backbone running along the body. Thanks to its thick, firm muscle fibers, swordfish can be filleted relatively easily. With just a few decisive cuts, large, intact slabs of meat are obtained with minimal waste. These slabs are then portioned into cuts about 2 to 3 centimeters thick, commonly known as swordfish steaks. This is the most popular market form, as it preserves the sweetness and firm texture of the fish while being convenient for grilling, pan-searing, or smoking. Another highly popular product is frozen swordfish. Selected swordfish destined for this process are flash frozen immediately after being cut into large blocks at around 40 degrees Celsius, then kept in cold storage at 20 degrees Celsius until portioning. The body sections are processed with industrial cutting systems, ensuring uniform slices that are visually appealing and meet international trade standards. Thanks to advanced freezing technology, the product not only preserves its quality, color, and flavor, but also retains its rich nutritional value, including protein and omega-3. With its long shelf life, frozen swordfish is widely distributed to supermarkets, restaurants, and high-end hotels worldwide, making it an ideal ingredient for a variety of dishes, ranging from pan-seared steaks and charcoal-grilled fillets to refined Asian and European recipes. Swordfish meat is firm and pink, with few bones, making it suitable for a wide variety of dishes, from fresh sashimi and sizzling pan-seared steaks to Mediterranean-style stews with tomatoes and olives. In the US and Europe, swordfish steak is the most popular choice, while sashimi and ceviche are favored in Japan and Latin America, evidence of the global appeal of this silver sword of the sea. From the depths of the ocean to refined dining tables, the journey of the swordfish is a testament to the harmony between the power of nature and human ingenuity. A solitary warrior of the sea and at the same time a coveted culinary treasure, the swordfish not only challenges the skill of fishermen, but also secures its legendary status in the world of seafood. Imagine yourself diving into the deep ocean, where fine sand and briny waters conceal ancient creatures that have existed for over 400 million years. Welcome to China, the global capital of sea cucumbers. Every year, this country produces and harvests more than 200,000 tons of sea cucumbers, accounting for over 2/3 of the world's supply and leaving all other competitors far behind in the international market. Sea cucumbers are often nicknamed sea dung because of their rough, bumpy appearance and their typical brown or black colors, which easily cause misunderstandings. In truth, however, they are better known as sea cucumbers, thanks to their elongated, plump bodies covered in prominent bumps that strikingly resemble fresh cucumbers on land. And have you ever wondered how such peculiar creatures actually breathe? Yes, you heard that right. Sea cucumbers breathe through their bottoms. Through tiny openings at the rear, they draw in oxygen-rich water and then expel it, sustaining their lives on the ocean floor. This extraordinary breathing method is the very secret that allows sea cucumbers to survive so remarkably in the vast ocean. This unique way of breathing not only helps sea cucumbers sustain life, but also facilitates their extraordinary mode of reproduction in the ocean's depths. In the wild, the male arches its body and gently releases sperm into the water, while the female releases eggs, allowing the two to merge and undergo external fertilization. The fertilized eggs then develop into free-swimming larvae, passing through several stages of transformation before finally settling on the seabed and becoming juvenile sea cucumbers. A miraculous journey that helps maintain the balance of the marine ecosystem. Yet in hatcheries, this natural script is deliberately rewritten by humans. Carefully selected broodstock are kept in separate tanks, and with just a shift in temperature, salinity, or sometimes a small dose of hormone, sea cucumbers simultaneously release their eggs and sperm. Farmers immediately collect them in clean seawater and actively mix them to ensure artificial fertilization. Thanks to this method, the success rate can reach 80 to 90%, many times higher than in the wild. From tiny fertilized eggs, larvae are born, grow through multiple stages, and eventually settle on the seabed, marking the beginning of a new life cycle shaped by human hands. And every journey has a beginning. Let us ride the waves back to the mudflats and coral reefs along the Pacific, where specialized vessels are preparing to launch the season of harvesting sea ginseng, the precious sea cucumber. The harvest season usually falls between late spring and early autumn, when tides, water temperature, and currents converge into ideal conditions. Beneath the deep blue waters, beams from diving lights and acoustic navigation devices sweep across the seabed, searching for traces of sea cucumbers hidden within fine sand. In the past, harvesting relied heavily on divers. But on an industrial scale, a faster and more efficient method than manual diving became essential, and the answer lies in the use of specialized bottom trawl nets. Large vessels equipped with GPS navigation, sonar, and seabed mapping systems allow captains to pinpoint sandy areas and seaweed meadows where sea cucumbers tend to gather. Once the sonar indicates a high density, the crew lowers wide trawl nets, designed with mesh sizes suitable for catching sea cucumbers, while minimizing the capture of rocks, corals, or non-target species. As the nets drag along the seabed, a thin layer of sediment is lightly stirred, sweeping sea cucumbers into the collection chamber. The entire process is carefully monitored to avoid excessive damage to the environment. After the set trawling time, the nets are hauled back onto the deck, unloading hundreds of kilograms of fresh sea cucumbers into seawater washing troughs to remove sand and mud. Immediately after this initial cleaning, all sea cucumbers must be transferred into large ice-filled bins or circulated chilling systems. The speed and yield of this method make it the top choice for large-scale harvesting operations. Right after being harvested and pre-cooled at sea, sea cucumbers are packed into large plastic containers, sealed tightly, and neatly loaded onto refrigerated trucks. The internal temperature is kept stable at all times to prevent decomposition and preserve freshness. From the port, the trucks transport the sea cucumbers directly to the processing plant to begin production. As soon as the fresh batches of sea cucumbers arrive at the factory, they are immediately sent to the washing area to remove mud, sand, and mucus clinging to their bodies. Clean seawater flows continuously, rinsing away impurities and restoring their naturally smooth surface. After being washed a second time at the plant, the fresh sea cucumbers are transferred to stainless steel preparation tables, where workers wear full protective gear, gloves, and masks to ensure absolute hygiene. Before starting, workers must thoroughly wash and disinfect their hands using a specialized system, eliminating bacteria and contaminants so that the handling process takes place under the strictest sanitary conditions. The main tools are specialized knives or small stainless steel scissors, sharp enough for precision but not overly sharp, allowing easy handling. Workers carefully slit open the sea cucumber's belly, remove the intestines and internal waste while keeping the outer body intact. After the preliminary processing is completed, a portion of the fresh sea cucumbers is immediately transferred to the processing area to produce dried sea cucumbers, a product that can be stored for a long time and is convenient for transportation. Once thoroughly cleaned, the sea cucumbers are placed into boiling pots filled with seawater or a precisely measured saline solution. This process not only helps stabilize the texture of the flesh, but also preserves the distinctive, briny flavor of the ocean. Containing about 90% water, the flesh of sea cucumbers contracts under heat, releasing moisture and shrinking by approximately 30 to 50% of their original size. This shrinkage not only makes the sea cucumbers firmer, but also concentrates the sweetness and nutritional value within each strand of flesh. Due to this significant weight loss after processing, sea cucumbers are classified as a premium seafood. Every gram of the final product is precious, contributing to their high economic value and special status in the international market. Immediately afterward, they are neatly arranged on stainless steel drying trays, each spaced just enough to allow cold air to circulate evenly. The drying process takes place at an extremely low temperature, around 40 degrees Celsius, in a dehumidified and continuously ventilated environment. This temperature allows the remaining moisture to evaporate gradually, preventing cracks or surface deformation. Depending on the size and thickness of the flesh, the drying time can last from several hours to several days. The result is dried sea cucumbers with an intact shape, appealing color, rich flavor, and the ability to be stored for months or even years, while still retaining their nutritional value. Once the sea cucumbers have gone through the drying process and reached the required level of dryness, they are transferred to the packaging area, where every step takes place in a clean environment with strictly controlled temperature and humidity. First, each batch of dried sea cucumbers is weighed precisely to ensure the exact quantity as specified in the order. Workers then carefully place the products into plastic bags or vacuum-sealed pouches, removing as much air as possible to prevent moisture and extend shelf life. After vacuum sealing, the bags are tightly sealed and labeled with detailed product information, packing date, and expiration date. Next, the individual packages are placed into cartons or sturdy paper boxes, with added moisture-absorbing packets or bubble wrap for protection during transportation. The finished products are then stored in cold warehouses or refrigerated containers, ready to be exported worldwide or distributed to high-end restaurants and supermarkets. Sea cucumber is a premium seafood with a distinctive flavor, tender yet firm, slightly crunchy, and naturally sweet with a refreshing oceanic taste, often prepared with minimal seasoning to preserve its pure essence. Rich in high-quality protein, low in fat, and packed with collagen, essential amino acids, and valuable minerals, it offers numerous health benefits. Since ancient times in China, Korea, and Japan, it has been regarded as a royal delicacy, a symbol of prosperity and longevity. Today, sea cucumber remains a prized ingredient in international cuisine, embodying both refinement and lasting luxury. With its strange appearance like a red pineapple growing on the ocean floor, the sea pineapple not only captivates the eye, but is also hailed as a flavor bomb, with a uniquely salty, briny taste unlike any other seafood. But how are tens of thousands of tons of sea pineapple farmed and processed each year? The journey from bizarre sea creature to a luxurious dining delicacy begins at coastal farms, where sea pineapples are bred in tanks before being suspended in the deep sea. They grow naturally for nearly 2 years before being harvested and brought to processing plants, where these living pineapples are carefully handled and canned on modern production lines. Today, join Agriculture Insight as we explore this unique delicacy and uncover what makes the sea pineapple an acquired taste and a culinary icon for the few. All will be revealed in this video. Called the sea pineapple, have you ever wondered, are they animals or plants? Despite resembling a red pineapple growing on the ocean floor, the sea pineapple is actually a marine animal belonging to the class Acidiaceae, also known as a sea squirt, a primitive creature distantly related to fish and even humans, thanks to possessing a notochord during its larval stage. Its body is encased in a thick, rugged outer tunic, resembling tree bark, which protects the soft, translucent flesh inside. It has 2 siphons, one for drawing water in and the other for expelling it, used for both feeding and breathing. The edible part is the fleshy tissue surrounding these siphons, pale pink-orange in color, slightly chewy in texture, and retaining the ocean's intense salinity. Sea pineapple is often enjoyed raw as sashimi in Korea and Japan, or pickled to pair with alcohol. Though not widely known around the globe, it is a highly prized delicacy in Northeast Asia. South Korea leads the world in production with 10,000 tons annually, followed by Japan, mainly from its cold northern waters. From there, the sea pineapple generates a value chain worth hundreds of millions of USD each year, driven by aquaculture, exports, and the high-end culinary industry. For those who have never tried this unusual delicacy, imagine biting into a piece of chilled flesh. Salty like seawater, lightly briny like fresh seaweed, with a lingering metallic finish on your tongue. Beneath that challenging taste lies a wealth of easily digestible protein, vitamin B12, and most notably, the mineral vanadium, making the sea pineapple not only an exotic treat, but also a potential superfood from the ocean. And no matter how extraordinary the journey, every story has a beginning. For these strange living pineapples, it starts in coastal aquaculture farms, where they are carefully cultivated and nurtured step by step until they are ready to face the open sea. The first step may seem simple, but it plays a crucial role in the entire farming cycle: broodstock selection. Sea pineapples chosen for breeding must be large in size, have a well-proportioned shape, a vibrant red color, and an intact outer shell. They are carefully selected from premium commercial harvests that meet strict standards or sourced from wild catches in the deep sea. Once the selection process is complete, the parent sea pineapples are placed in tanks filled with cleansing seawater, maintained at an ideal temperature of 13 to 15 degrees Celsius, with continuous aeration to ensure optimal dissolved oxygen levels. In this ideal environment, the sea pineapples naturally release sperm and eggs directly into the seawater. Once fertilized, the eggs remain suspended in the tank and develop rapidly. Within just 24 to 48 hours, they hatch into tiny, free-swimming larvae. This is an extremely fragile stage. Survival rates depend heavily on water quality, stable temperature, and the cleanliness of the tank. For this reason, farmers often install biofiltration systems and continuously monitor environmental parameters to ensure a high hatching rate and strong vitality for the larvae. When the larvae begin to move, water from the hatching tanks is transferred to secondary rearing tanks equipped with ropes, plastic mesh, or rough polymer plates. The water containing the larvae passes through a fine mesh to filter out debris before being released directly into the substrate tanks. Here, the larvae instinctively seek out hard surfaces to attach to, a natural behavior. Once attached, they rapidly transform their body structure, losing their tail and notochord, and developing the rough outer tunic characteristic of the species. This marks their transition to a sessile lifestyle, beginning their growth into mature sea pineapples. After about 3 to 4 weeks in the substrate tanks, when the juvenile sea pineapples reach a size of around 0.8 to 1.2 centimeters and are firmly attached to the ropes, farmers transfer the entire rope system to the main farming area in the open sea. These rafts are usually located in clean waters at depths of 5 to 20 meters, with stable temperatures between 10 and 18 degrees Celsius, and gentle currents to ensure a rich supply of plankton. Sea pineapples require no feeding, as they grow by filtering natural food particles from the seawater. Throughout the process, farmers periodically inspect the ropes, clean off mussels, seaweed, and parasites, and monitor the health of each cluster. After about 18 to 24 months on the cold seabed, mature sea pineapples reach a size of 10 to 15 centimeters and an average weight of 200 to 300 grams each, ready for harvest. In highly mechanized farms, harvesting involves machinery from the very start. Long suspension ropes are lifted from the rafts using cranes or pulley systems connected to specialized harvesting vessels, equipped with sea pineapple stripping machines. As the ropes pass through the machine chamber, the sea pineapples are automatically detached by rotating rollers that use a combination of spin and pressure to separate them from the ropes. Once detached, all the sea pineapples are collected into large plastic containers and transported to shore. Some facilities use large mesh bags for holding the harvest, which are then lifted by hydraulic cranes onto trucks or directly to nearby processing docks. In the semi-manual harvesting method, Each rope of sea pineapples can hold 100 to 150 mature individuals, with a total weight of up to 45 kilograms per rope. When it's time to harvest, fishermen use winches or manual pulling to lift the entire rope from the sea, securing it to the side of the boat or large floating buoys to minimize impacts that could damage the outer shell. Each trip can bring in dozens of ropes, which are then slowly towed back to shore, where processing facilities are ready to receive them. Though more labor-intensive than full mechanization, this method keeps the sea pineapples in their natural seawater environment until the very last moment, ensuring freshness and reducing biological stress before processing. At the coastal processing facility, stripping machines are operated to maximize productivity. Sea pineapples pass through a continuous system of rotating rollers, swiftly detaching from the ropes at a capacity of 200 to 300 kilograms per hour, several times higher than the manual method, which handles only about 30 to 40 kilograms per hour. Next, the sea pineapples are cleaned using a high-pressure water spray system to remove sand, debris, and any organisms clinging to the shell. A portion is immediately processed on site, with workers extracting the translucent inner flesh, the most valuable part, for direct sale at seafood markets or to local restaurants. However, the majority of the harvest is loaded onto conveyor belts and transferred into specialized transport trucks. Inside each truck, compartments are filled with clean seawater and continuously aerated to maintain maximum freshness during transit. From there, the sea pineapples are delivered to modern processing plants, marking the start of a new chapter in their journey to win over diners who crave the bold, distinctive flavors born from the depths of the sea. At the processing plant, specialized trucks carrying live sea pineapples are received directly at the raw material intake area. Staff quickly inspect each batch to ensure the sea pineapples are still alive, undamaged, and show no signs of reduced freshness. The entire load is then transferred into holding tanks with chilled, circulating seawater to allow the animals to stabilize temporarily before entering the processing line. The sea pineapples are moved to an automated washing system that uses high-pressure seawater jets combined with rotating drums to completely remove sand, oyster shells, encrusting organisms, and other debris from the marine environment. This washing step also helps soften the outer tunic, making the next stage of processing easier and more efficient. To extract the meat, workers use thin knives to make a careful incision along the body, peel back the outer tunic, and gently remove the flesh within. The meat is pale pink-orange or translucent yellow, soft yet slightly chewy, and carries the distinctive briny flavor of the sea. During this process, a dark, almost black mass near the base of the body, the digestive gland and intestine containing waste matter, is revealed. This part is inedible due to its bitter taste and strong fishy odor, and is completely removed either by hand or with specialized cutting tools. Once extracted, the sea pineapple meat is transferred to the packaging area. Depending on its intended use, the product is packed into trays, vacuum-sealed bags, aluminum cans, or large plastic containers. Before sealing, a light spray of diluted brine is applied to the surface to retain moisture and extend shelf life. Finally, the packages are sealed, labeled for traceability, and moved into cold storage, ready for domestic distribution or export. In South Korea, sea pineapple is famous for myeonggae-ho, served raw in sashimi style. After cleaning, the sea pineapple is thinly sliced and served with gochujang chili paste, vinegar, or wasabi, sometimes accompanied by seaweed and soju. This dish is not only common in coastal seafood markets, but also an essential part of traditional drinking gatherings. Sea pineapple is also mixed with white rice, vegetables, sesame oil, and seasonings to make myeonggae bibimbap, an unusual yet popular summer rice dish. Meanwhile, in Japan, sea pineapple, Hoya, is often eaten raw with soy sauce and vinegar, sometimes pickled or lightly grilled in small izakaya pubs. Its mild brininess, salty punch, and distinctive metallic aftertaste make it an acquired taste, yet Japanese gourmets praise it as the essence of the cold sea. In both countries, sea pineapple is more than just food. It is part of the coastal culinary identity. Bold, authentic, and not for everyone,